everyone? Kitchen Table TCG here, Louie. Now we are on Patreon. We'll talk about that as the video goes. If you don't care about it, that's fine. No big deal. We're still going to be doing all the videos. Everything's still going to be out there. I just have a couple cool ideas to create a community with some ideas to generate some better data. But yeah, welcome to Kitchen Table TCG. Today we're doing a welcome to Rathe, however you want to pronounce it. I always mess it up. Box EV calculation. We've got the unlimited here. We've got the alpha here. We'll start out with the alpha. We're kind of going to try to do this every week. So Monday will be, it's going to go, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So Saturday will be Crucible, Sunday will be Arcane Rising, and Monday will be Welcome to Rathe. So that's where we are. That's what the plan is. Welcome to Rathe has much better, much more sold data than Arcane Rising did. So in my opinion, this is going to be much more accurate than we were with the other ones. I think we were relatively accurate, but the data was hard to come by. So let's start out with alpha, WTR alpha. And here's my opinion on that. Let me just say one more thing before we get into the hard data. I think there were more boxes of WTR alpha opened than Arcane Rising first edition. And I don't have any actual hard evidence to back that up. My only evidence would be that seems to be more sold product of WTR alpha and potentially even more available on the market. So that might also coincide with why there are seemingly less sealed boxes of alpha on the market than Arcane Rising. Anyway, that's just my opinion. So here's where we are. We got sealed boxes. Let me pull up show you some actual evidence of this. We've got sealed boxes. They are currently selling for around $2,500. There was one sold in Australia for $2,200, but I'm seeing bids on current ones that are getting close to this $2,500. I think that's where they're going to kind of stabilize here, and that seems to be where we are. That seems to be where the market is on that. So sealed prices for a box is looking at about $2,549. That is up 31% from last week. Which last week, this was kind of that big spike. We jumped 136% from the 7th to the 14th. That was where we had that huge buyout. But now we are seeing another 31% increase here, continued growth even into the holiday season. We'll see what next week looks like with Christmas. But on the heart side, we had some sold listings on the 14th around that time for about $6,500. And then just recently this was not on eBay. This is actually on TCG Player. And if you are a seller, you can see sold prices of cards. So right here, let's see if I can make that bigger for you. We have a sold, this is terrible, sorry guys. We have a sold listing for $1,000 or $10,000. The shipping puts it over by $1, so $10,001. Who charges $2 for shipping for $1,000 card? Come on, guys. Anywho, the heart has a sold listing for that. Lowest listed on TCG Player is $25,000. Let's pick up. I wasn't planning to do this, so I'll have to do it. But let's pick up what the lowest listed on eBay is. I think it's about the same. Let's go Heart of Fandale, Cold Foil. Yep, it is the same. It's probably the same guy, honestly. Same person listing that. The lowest listed is $25,000. So it seems to be where the market is trending towards that. I don't know. I don't know that we'll have 25,000 would be 150% growth. Last week's growth was 30%. So I'm looking for next week to potentially we'll see a $13,000 heart. As for the legendaries, and again, there was so much more market data on these than on the arcane stuff. Brave Forge bracers, we had a sold at $675. The Spring Tunic sold for $1,500. Mask of Momentum sold for $1,500. The only one that I wasn't sure on with it was tectonic plating, and I'll actually show you that. Scab skin was at about 910, and that kind of makes sense based on the other ones. And here's what I'm seeing for tectonic plating. We did have a sold listing around $900 on the 15th. That makes sense. But right here is the bizarre one, 192. I'm guessing somebody just got really lucky. But so that's why I just put that asterisk on that. It looks like, $192 seems very, very, very cheap. Very cheap. So congratulations if you pulled that. I'm guessing the value is more like that $900 range. And here we got the cold foils. This is the common cold foils, which I think people are sleeping on just a little bit. You're hitting an average of about $93. I actually was able to pick up when I was doing this data. I was able to pick up this Goliath Gauntlet on TCG Player for $35. So we'll see if that actually gets shipped out or not. I know there's a lot of that stuff going around. But that's my number. I purchased it about 20 hours ago. So everything else, so we're seeing sold listings right around 80, 90, $100, with the plate being the highest one that I could find. So there is value in those. I've seen some people trying to trade those away too for some sealed product, and it's good to see those moving. I think this will be not as played, but I think this will be something that like lower level collectors end up wanting, just to be able to say they have a piece of cold foil from Alpha. So don't sleep on those. I think there is some value there, more for the collecting side. Obviously the legendaries are going to get played until they're too expensive, and then they'll be put on a shelf, but it seems like these will be a cool collector's piece. So if you want one of those, don't sleep on that, and keep a lookout on the market, because I was able to get one for $35, so it seems like that might be able to happen. Majestic rainbow foil. This is where data gets a little bit more difficult, although this is still much better than Arcane Rising was, in terms of being able to find actual sold listings. Kind of what I do if I can't find a sold listing, just so you know, is I find a current listed price, and then I find the latest sold price, and I try to kind of estimate based on the rest of the market. But this is much more data than Arcane Rising was. So the ones that were really questionable were this Crippling Crush at 400 and Enlightened Strike at 1200. This was kind of, I heard this in the Discord group. That's why I put those numbers there. The Discord server for the Wall Street Discord server was talking about that. So it seems to be where people thought the price was sitting. But other than this, I did see some sold listings at around these prices. I would expect these to start trending upwards pretty dramatically, though. But that's where we are. So your average kind of Majestic rainbow foil is sitting at about $245, and then Enlightened Strike's kind of the highlight of the set, and that's around $1,200. I think Tome, that's going to be low on Tome. Crippling Crush is used, a super iconic card as well. So super rares, you're kind of averaging in it at $30, and that kind of sits relatively appropriate. Some of these numbers were interesting to me, especially Remembrance seems to be the highest selling card from the super rare. Bonehead Carrier, this number is probably not super accurate based on the other ones, but there was a sold listing for that. So I would probably pick up a couple of Mugenshi releases for $36 in the rainbow foil, honestly, for my deck. My Ninja deck. Hey, here's the thing with these numbers. This is one of the reasons why I actually started a Patreon. I've heard a lot of feedback from you, the listeners, that the watchers, that some of these, that there are sales happening in Facebook groups, and I don't have access to seeing all that data. So one of my thoughts with Patreon was to create a high value pricing spreadsheet that is kind of available to patrons. So basically, if you see something sold on Facebook Marketplace, and you can screenshot that and type it in. I've got a area set up on Patreon to kind of track that, and then I will update these sold listings, and we'll kind of put the link so we can try to start tracking the price of sold cards. And then that's not the only thing with the Patreon, but that's just kind of access at the lowest tier gets you access to that. quick pitch, skip over 30 seconds if you don't care, but the other side of the Patreon is I'm gonna have a collector thing that I'll talk about in a little bit, but I'll actually give you these prices too that you can put into your own collectible spreadsheet and keep track of your collection. But anyway, if you want to be part of that, that'd be great. I just want some more people generating data and helping me out generating data to see some of these sold listings. So if you see something on Facebook, you can put it in the group, and then I'll be able to update it, and we'll have actual data from the Facebook marketplace as well. So that's the goal with that. Again, patreon.com/kitchentabletcg if you're interested in that. Anyway, back to this. Super rare, we landed about $30 each. The Majestics, this all kind of lines up to with how many you get for a box. So the Majestics average out about $35, and Lightning Strike at $90 seems like that'll start moving pretty quick as well. Again, and like Toma, Fenny, and Dale, I would see both of these in rainbow foil and Majestic. I just don't see how like a non-played cold foil is worth that, and then like the rainbow Majestic is. I just don't see those lining up. I think we're gonna see these move pretty rapidly in the next couple weeks, months maybe. Super rare, your average price is about $7. This all lines up and makes sense based on the current sales of the rainbow foil. Those kind of all were running perpendicular. And even in your rainbow foils on the rare side, you've got some value here. And some of these were all mostly sold listings. Some of them are current listed price. It was, there's a lot of cards here, but this is kind of what I'm gathering from the market. Time Snap Potions selling for $35 if you got one of those sitting around in foil. And then all these prices, again, it's really cool. The market, it is making sense based on the pull rates in the boxes. So everything is lining up to say that this is natural movement, not just investors, but also just natural movement based on a collectible card game. So where does that get us with our estimated value calculation? That this puts in kind of your average cold foil with the legendaries was $93, but that's not actually put into the EV. What's put into the EV? Oh yeah, it is. I'm sorry. That was a stupid. I forgot I took all that out. So your cold foil is about $93 on average. Your rares are going to get you $170. Your foil rares are going to get you $62. 4 super rares per box gets you around $27. 1 foil super rare gets you $30. Majestics, you get 2 in a box on average, so there's around $70. Foil Majestic, you get about 1 per case, so that's about $62 per case if you open 4. The legendary, 1 in 4th chance of getting a legendary puts you at $274, and your chance of the heart is $250. And so this calculation assumes that you open 40 boxes of Welcome to Rathe. And again, no one's going to do that, but here's your number for those of you who just want to see the number and go. The box EV is sitting at $1,036.97. Again, that number is assuming that you're opening 40 boxes. If you open just 1 box, you're creating this kind of gamble where you're at the mercy of your cold foil and your chance of the legendary, and then obviously your chance at the heart. So, don't take this as if you open 1 box of Welcome to Rathe that you're going to get $1,000 worth of value. More realistically, if you're just opening 1 box, you're going to land at around $512. That takes into account everything but the legendary and the chance at the heart. Here's the only other major thing is this significant value in the foil commons. I hate it's just so hard to track the actual sales of that many cards, but there is, especially for the cards that are played, people are going to want the alpha commons foil. So make sure you take a look at those if you're kind of really looking to sell. Don't just throw those in a corner. Those alpha version, those are the first cards out there. So there is significant value. You could probably sell. I don't know the exact number right now off the top of my head, but if you get 300 cards, I'm guessing you could get $200 for those, $100 to $200. So there is significant value in the foil commons of alpha. So just keep that in mind. So before we get over to the unlimited, just wanted to say that all this information in my Patreon is going to be given out weekly. So right now after this video, I will go ahead and copy all of this data that I have collected and meticulously went over, and you'll be able to download it in the Patreon and actually have a collection tracker. Let's see if I can pull up one of the collection trackers. Actually have a collection tracker that's going to allow you to plug in the numbers based on what you have, and it will give you your value of your cards. So here's the legendaries. If you have one shard, and you have 3 Crater Fists and 5 it'll actually calculate your value for you. And then every week, whenever I do these videos, I'll just send everybody the data, and then you can just plug that into your spreadsheet at home, and you will have a chart of your data. So that's one of the levels on the Patreon. That's at the $5 level. If you're interested in that, would love to have you. If not, you'll still have these videos coming out weekly. So that's the only other thing on the Patreon. So let's move on now. I don't want to just toot my own horn. Let's move on to WTR Unlimited. And let's go through that. And so this one, we had a ton of data. So I would say this is almost 100% accurate, very close to 100% accurate, honestly. Currently, you've got a sold heart at about 429. The lowest listed was about 500. So that would be continuing to trend up. Although I think as more and more of this is opened, I don't think that this price is going to trend in the same direction for a while as the cold foil. The trend line is looking pretty kind of similar. It's growing. I would expect to see this kind of flatline or dip down a little bit. Price memory will set in a little bit at like the $350, $400 range though. So I don't think you're going to lose money. I want to hold off on buying one, but I just don't see, because there's going to be so much open. There's so much on the market, so many boxes. So this is an unlimited set, remember. So as for your legendaries, I think this is super healthy right now. I traded a spring tunic for a Mask of Momentum a couple weeks ago with it total expectation of these two separating further, but it seems like everything's lining up pretty well, honestly. Seeing sold listings on the bracers at around 110, on the tunic at 190, Mask of Momentum at 150, the leathers at about 86, tectonic plating around 89. All these are percentage-wise pretty accurate compared to alpha versions as well, which makes me feel like the alpha versions, aren't just collectors. Makes me feel like maybe, and I really believe this, that a lot of them have to do with the players too. So, don't lose sight of that this game is more, people just like playing it too, and it's fun to collect, but it's also fun to play. So I really think that these numbers trending at the same percentages of alpha is good for people who have faith in the alpha cards, because they are being played, not just collected. So anyway, your average legendary price for a unlimited legendary is $125.29 right now. And as you guys know, we're going to do this every week. So next week we'll have kind of the percentage growth of that on all these cards. Everything I've talked about, we will have data for percentage growth, and we'll be able to see trend lines and everything. So I'm excited about that. As we move forward, it'll be cool to look back. So, Enlightened Strike on your Majestic Rainbow Foil side, Enlightened Strike's sitting at $100. So that's awesome. That's super healthy to be able to open a box and get $100 card. That's pretty awesome. Alpha Rampage, everything's sitting, between 17 and 50. Everything else about that tome is at 60. So your average price is clocking in at about $30, which is really great. I think that's a really healthy market price for these cards. I like that you can open a box of Unlimited and make some money back. So we'll get to the EV in a second though. Majestic, your non-foil, this is all trending pretty similarly to alpha again. So that's kind of cool to see. You're about double price on some of the more expensive ones like the Strike. And, so just keep that in mind. Super rare. So I don't know if I said this, your average price is $14. Super rare, your average price is $7. This is for the foil rares, foil super rares. Highest one again is Remembrance. That's the same with Alpha. So all this stuff is shaping up very, very healthily. Regular super rares, these are, I wish these were worth a little bit more, honestly, but about $250 on an average. Remembrance is kind of your most expensive one, again, which makes sense. And again, you're seeing almost a double price, which is about the same as the Majestic. So lots of healthy noise there. When we come to rares, this is where you lose all sorts of money here. Your rare price, your rares are almost, this is even rainbow foil, everything is under the kind of dollar mark, other than the energy potion, potion of strength, and the red snatch and time snap potion. So if you hit potions or the red snatch, you're doing good. Other than that, you're kind of not making much on the rainbow foils on the unlimited set right now. Average price clocks in at $1.10 or $1.18. And then the rares, I mean, there's almost no value in the rares at all. Time snap is even under $1. I think the only one, energy potion, I think that's the only card over $1 for your rares. So hardly any value, really no value there. It's hard to sell that. So all in all, your EV, you got average price. So we kind of went through all the averages, and then you've got all these clocked in. We kind of talked about it. You're getting about $15 out of your rares. We'll talk about that in a second, about if we should include that or not in the EV. You do not have a significant value in foil commons. Sorry. Your foil rares, you're clocking in. You get about $4 of foil rares. Super rares, you get about $10. You get one foil super rare in a box. You get 2 Majestics per box, so you get about $28 in Majestics. Foil Majestic is a 1 in 4th chance, so $7, and then you got your chance at the legendary and at the heart. That clocks your box EV into about $114, again, if you open 40 of them. Again, you have that gamble if you're only opening one box. Without the legendary or the fabled, you're clocking in about $72, which is very, very much close to the sealed price. But that's going to come with a caveat, and that caveat is these 42 rares. Unfortunately, cards under 50 cents, cards under $1 are very difficult to sell, and to actually generate profit off of, because you have to ship them. So, realistically, this kind of price is more like $60, I would say. Unless you're looking to play the game, and that's where this kind of is going to end, is that if you're looking to play the game, you can open a box and get your value pretty much back, and have a shot at getting the legendary or getting the heart. But if you're just opening just to get this kind of super rare, Majestic, if you're just opening the boxes just to get the chance at the legendary and the heart, if you don't hit that, you're not going to hit your value back. All in all, though, I think this is a really healthy market right now for Unlimited. I think the market is reacting really well to the Unlimited set. And I think that's because people are playing the game. Even if you can't play in your local game store, people are playing around the kitchen table, no pun intended, and people are playing with their friends and their family. So, again, I think this is healthy. We will have an EV chart going on as we grow. As this kind of goes forward, we'll have lots of opportunity to see what the market is doing. And again, one last pitch. I'm not going to do this a ton. This is just kind of the first day that I've had it out. So I would love to invite you to be part of my Patreon. I'll show you the tiers. If you're done, if you don't care about this, you can just go ahead and click out. That's fine. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. But if you are interested in this is kind of where we have the Patreon starting. $3 gets you a seat at the table. And that's going to get you access to all the exclusive and generated market data. So I will actually just be posting all this data, and you'll have access to it without having to write it down yourself. And you can just copy and paste it wherever you need to. Sorry, this is the generated market data. What I just said is actually for the financial planner level, the $5 level. You'll have access to copy and paste that data. At the $3 data, you'll actually have access to this data, which will be kind of where we're tracking these high value cards, and you'll have access to contribute to that data. You'll also have access to see that data at any time. So if you are looking to buy a, Bulls Bracers of Belief, you can look up here, and we'll have some people here who have said, hey, I saw one sold for $150 on this day. So you can kind of see what your prices are. Just trying to keep a track of data and a place to keep all that in one place for you and for me and for everybody. So that's at the $3 level. At the $5 level, I'll send out all the data that I put into here, and you can have a collection tracker that I've provided for you that you just put in your collection, and you can see the value. And then at $10 a month with only a limit of 20, and actually this is 18. I just saw somebody that signed up. Thanks for signing up, whoever you are. At $10 a month, you'll actually be part of my box openings. You'll get that last slot, a 1 in 20 chance of getting the pack from every box opening that is in print. So I'll roll a die, and 20 people will be on that die. Once this kind of pack addict sells out, it's done until somebody drops out. These other two are open all the time, but you don't have to be a patron to get all the information. All that's going to come out here on my videos. I'm here for the community. I just wanted to have another kind of deeper dive in for people if you wanted that, if you're looking for a way to track your collection, and if you wanted access to this data, that's where we're going for that. So all in all, thanks for watching. Hope you'll hit subscribe. Thanks for being here. Remember to have a good day. Remember that this is just fun, man. Cards are a blast, but they are not life. There's more to life than cardboard. So remember to be kind to those around you, be kind to those on the internet, and be kind to the people who love you the most. Sometimes we're the hardest on them, aren't we? So hope you have a good day. Thanks for watching. This is Kitchen Table TCG.